In 2018, Water Sector Trust Fund, also known as WaterFund, a state corporation under the Ministry of Water, Sanitation and Irrigation, embarked on the implementation of the Green Growth and Employment Program, GGEP, with financial support from the Danish International Development Agency, Danida. The Green Growth and Employment Program is a 2016-2021 partnership between Danish and Kenyan governments whose objective is enhanced water resource management and investments in selected counties for improved and sustained access by communities and households to water and sanitation for their domestic and productive needs.
The Green Growth and Employment Program takes also a bigger headline because it's not only about water, it's also about Kenya having experienced quite a high growth the past decades, becoming a middle-income country. But if you look at the global environment, if you look at climate change, there's a shift now, and everybody's realizing that when we create growth, we also need sustainable growth. So there's a big shift that has happened both in Europe, but it's coming now also in Kenya, for everybody to think in sustainable solutions, to think in circular economy, not to use the natural resources that we are giving from the world.
The main reason behind Danida implementing this program was to make sure that we support the Kenyan government to green the businesses, to green the economy, and also to make sure that the communities in the marginalized areas become more resilient to climate change.
The program funded water and sanitation projects in underserved areas within 8 counties in Kenya, namely Garissa, Isiolo, Lamu, Mandera, Marsabit, Tana River, Turkana and Wajir.
It was close to over 970 million Kenya shillings that we were able to implement projects that were identified and earmarked by the county government in those areas. And the objective was to basically not only provide water services and water resource, but also there was also livelihood and employment creation element within that objective of that program.
WaterFund, in collaboration with local and international partners, also implemented the Water and Livelihood Program, WLP, a subset of the Green Growth and Employment Program.
Water and Livelihood Program was an addendum to the GGEP program. It's not a standalone program by itself, and it was targeting refugees and host communities, specifically in Turkana West. And within Turkana West, we were able to cover 5 wards within Turkana County. So the funding for the WLP program was over 600 million. We were reaching out to over 10,000 households, which translates to over 50,000 people within that area.
Under GGP, we were able to finance 20 water and sanitation projects at a cost of 423.9 million Kenya shillings. And we also were able to finance 32 water resource management projects at a total cost of 170 million. Under the water and resource management investment, we piloted successfully Conservancy 5, 2 which were in Tana River and 3 which were in Lamu County. We provided financial support to the implementing partners who were either this community-based organizations, CBOs, or water service providers, or Conservancy, or Water Resource Users Association, normally known as RUAS.
Let's now look at 6 projects in Lamu, Tana River, Isiolo and Turkana counties in order to appreciate the impact to communities that benefited. And we begin in Lamu. Welcome to Kyouga location, some 87 kilometers from Lamu town, along Kenya's Indian Ocean. The residents of the location, which borders Somalia, had no access to clean fresh water until 2021 upon completion of the Kyouga Water and Sanitation Extension Project that was funded by Water Sector Trust Fund with financial support from the Danish International Development Agency under the Green Growth and Employment Program. Paul Kimani, the acting managing director of Lamu Water and Sanitation Company, which is the project's implementing partner, says it was a desperate situation as the 4,500 residents of the location were consuming saline water.
They had to rely on salt water from shallow wells, and probably they would go get water from Mangai River, which is about 40 kilometers away in Boni Forest. And then with the issues of insecurity that existed there before, that really pushed the people of Kyouga to the wall. They didn't have anywhere to get water.
Kyouga Water and Sanitation Project cost about 38 million Kenya shillings. The project involved putting up a desalination plant that removes salt from 2 shallow wells, thereby purifying the water and making it fit for consumption. The plant is powered by these 242 solar panels that produce 72 kilowatts of electricity per day.
A month we could consume diesel of about 200 to 300,000 shillings. So that saves us a big time in terms of O&M. We do no longer have to invest in that because we're getting free energy from the sun. The desalination plant, we currently have 2, one producing 5,000 liters of water and another producing 2,000 liters of water. We're getting about 7,000 liters of water per hour. And in a day, we're getting about 60,000 liters. That water is stored in a sump tank of about 50,000 liters and then pumped upward to a still elevated tank of about 50,000 liters again. It is at that point whereby we release that water, we gravitate it to the village, whereby we have done a 15-kilometer water supply pipeline connecting every single house in Kyouga village. So now instead of the residents of Kyouga going miles away to get water, they stay in the houses and wait for the water to come into their own kitchen.
Hapo zamani nikikisia jerikeni moja ndo nikiitumia, mengine utakalea kisimani. Kwa sababu haya tukifanya ndo ya kupikia na kunywa na kupikia chai. Manake tukifanya lazima tutumie kwa makisio kwa sababu maji yalikuwa na shida. Lakini kwa hivi sasa maji haya na shida, tunafulia, tunaogea, tunapikia. Lakini ile kipimo cha zamani huko hakuna.
The project also involved the construction of this water kiosk where residents access water at a fee.
Sasa kumbuke kama isai moja kutoka hapa pa kufika kwenye maji ikiwa naenda haraka haraka, masaa mawili kwenda na kurudi. Sasa ikiwa ni jerikeni moja lita 20, ujue haiwezi tutosheleza nyumbani. Unaona sasa ni shida hiyo. Lakini tukienda kwa mashini pale tunatoa shilingi 2 na somni napata jerikeni moja ya maji.
The land where the station sits was donated by Kyouga Primary School after consultations with community members. The school not only benefited from the water, but also had their sanitation challenges resolved through installation of ventilated improved pit latrines, hand washing facilities, and an 8,000-liter plastic tank that serves a population of 717 students and 20 staff members.
We had shortage of the learners and the teachers and things. We had only 4 doors for the boys and 4 doors for the girls, and only 2 for the teaching staff and also the non-teaching staff. There was a lot of time wastage when the boys and girls were lining up there waiting to go for a short or even a long call. We came now to get better and good ultra-modern toilets through the WaterFund, because they came up constructed 16 doors for the boys and 12 doors for the girls, which are enough at the moment. Everything now is running well, no time wastage, no absenteeism. The level of hygiene is high, it is good. So now we can be able to see the advantages of that particular project.
The WaterFund resident engineer for Lamu County, Kenneth Wandugu, says the community was fully involved during the implementation of the project.
When we procured a contractor to do these works, there are those activities that were given directly to the locals here. For instance, the excavations of the pipelines, the logistical means of mobilizing materials to site, because generally the challenge with this place is logisticals of transport, those challenges. So some of those works are to be done by the locals to bring the machines that had been brought from Nairobi to this place. They were dropped at the seashore and they had to be ferried to this place.
Indeed, residents of Kyouga have a story to tell, that of once a water-scarce village, but now it's all smiles.
Ule muda kwenda kutumia kuteka maji, haya sasa naweko nimekaa angalia television tu sasa.
From Lamu County, we cross over to Tana River County, and here we have Lower Tana Delta Conservancy and Nanigi Water and Sanitation Projects. This is Churro, one of the 4 locations in Lower Tana Delta whose residents benefited from Water Sector Trust Fund funding under the Green Growth and Employment Program. The other locations include Kipini, Konemansa, and Ozi. This funding was directed to environmental conservation activities to cushion residents of Lower Tana Delta from adverse effects of climate change, ranging from drought to decreased fish quantities from River Tana. Lower Tana Delta Conservation Trust that operates in the area implemented the 10 million Kenya shillings worth project.
Hizo pesa ni kwamba tulikuwa na miradi tofauti tofauti, yote yakihusishana na mambo ya uhifadhi wa mazingira kama vile upanzi wa mikoko, kujaribu kufufua msitu wa Ngomeni. Pia tukawa na mambo ya water harvesting. Tuliweza kununua tanki 3 za lita 10,000. Halafu mradi mwingine ambayo tuliweza kutekeleza ni huu mradi wa clean energy, hususan mambo ya biogas na chikokoa.
Lower Tana Delta Conservancy Trust worked with over 10,000 community members drawn from community forest associations and beach management units to restore mangroves on 3 acres of degraded Darga-Galge area along the banks of River Tana.
Si kila mtu ana uwezo wa kujenga na bloki. Mara nyingi tunatumia miti, na miti inayofaa kusimamisha nyumba vizuri ni mikoko. Na tukaona inakatwa, watu wanakata mikoko wanatumia, tukaona kuliko inakatwa ikaitu hivyo hivyo, ile inakatwa ile tunapanda. Hii mikoko pia saa nyingine upande wa maji huku kando kando samaki huwa zinakaa sana. Ni sehemu ambayo huwa wanakaa, wanazaa huko ndani. Samaki zikiwa nyingi wavuvi wanavua, watu wananunua, wanaenda kuuza. Wanapata pesa, maisha yanasonga mbele.
Tuko na azimio kama conservancy, mikoko tukipanda ikiwa mingi, tufanye hii biashara inaitwa carbon trading. Tuuze hewa kaa, tupate manufaa ili maisha ya mwananchi wa kawaida ipate kuinuka. Kusema ukweli, katika uhifadhi kuna kipato ndani yake. Hatuhifadhi peke yake, tunahifadhi at the same time tunakuza maisha ya jamii.
On to the clean energy component of the project, and 38 homesteads benefited from biogas kits and 320 issued with energy saving jikos.
Pale kitambo tulikuwa tunatumia masaa nyingi, tunaenda huko msituni kukata kuni kupikia. Saa hii tumepata hiyo gesi, tumenufaika, haina moshi, hata huko msituni tumeacha hiyo kuharibu mazingira. Tulipopata hii jikokoa inatumia makaa 5, inapika haraka, kisha iko na moto nyingi. Kwa sasa tunatumia gunia moja mwezi 1.5, kuliko pale zamani tunatumia gunia 1 kwa wiki 2.
Lower Tana Delta, being an arid region, experiences seasonal rains. Therefore, they need to store enough water to use during dry seasons. The 3 10,000-liter water tanks issued to Odole Primary, Ozi Primary and Buyani Secondary Schools came in handy as the schools use the tanks as water storage facilities, especially for kitchen and sanitation needs. This helps to keep learners in school, as Simon Orori, a teacher at Buyani Secondary, observes.
There is a need of constantly having water being an institution, and and particularly in this time of corona, where sanitation is an issue, there is that need to constantly wash our hands. Before the tank, maji ilikuwa ni kufuatwa kutoka kwa well. Lakini sasa after the tank, pipe imekuwa connected directly to the kitchen. Sasa wakati tanki kuna maji, ile staff ya kitchen angalau inasaidika hiyo movement, wanapata kuconcentrate in whatever they are doing there without hiyo worry ya maji.
It's a basket full of goodies for the residents of Lower Tana Delta. Restored mangroves means restored fish breeding zones. Clean energy means less harm to the forests, and more water for schools means better learning environment for learners.
Langu la muhimu tu ni kuwashukuru Water Sector Trust Fund kwa huu ufadhili, na ninaamini hata jamii wenyewe wanaweza kuzungumza hilo, kwa sababu sisi huwa tunawakilisha maoni yao.
Nanigi is a small location in Bura constituency, Tana River County, with a population of approximately 8,000 people. Here, residents say accessibility to water was a tedious process, often involved with many risks. However, that is no longer the case after the completion of Nanigi Water and Sanitation Project in 2021.
Kabla ya mradi wa maji, ilikuwa tunateka kanali. Lakini saa hizi tunashukuru Mungu liko hapa karibu. Tunashota, tunaoga, tunafua nayo, tunafanyia kazi nyingine. Kwa hivyo saa hizi tunashukuru. Ugumu wa kuteka maji kanali ni ugumu mwingi. Maana yake unakanyaga hapo mpaka huko unarudi hapa karibu masaa matatu. Lakini saa hizi unashota naleta hapa, hata isichukui masaa au hata dakika 5 zichukui hapa.
The project that was implemented by Tana Water and Sanitation Company is managed by Nanigi Water and Sanitation CBO and serves about 1,000 consumers daily.
Kwa hii kioski yangu ambayo nahudumia ni jerikeni 100 kwa siku ambayo watu wanachota hapa.
Pale malipo sisi kama kikundi tuliamua kwamba kila mwanachama yoyote yule ambaye anatumia haya maji tutakuwa tunalipa shilingi 200 kwa mwezi. Kama mtu anakuja kununua maji direct, unalipa shilingi 5 kwa mtungi. Pesa zile kidogo ambazo tunazozipata ndio zile pesa zinatusaidia wakati kama kuna pipe imeharibika nini, kusaidia ku maintain nayo ile hali.
Learning institutions in the area have also benefited from the project. Nanigi Primary School, for instance, not only got connected to the water, but also received 4 ventilated improved pit latrines, hand washing facilities, and a 10,000-liter water tank. As Omar Balesa, the head teacher, says, this has reduced absenteeism of learners in the school by a great deal.
Previously, girls who were at a puberty age used to be absent when they are experiencing the monthly period. But after the coming of the project, learners are there and they are present just because they know for sure that there is enough water to clean themselves.
The area chief, Mohamed Hiribai too, is full of praise for the project as he attributes it to improved security in the location.
Zamani kulikuwa na shallow well moja ilichimbwa na NGOs. Sasa hiyo peke yake ndio ilikuwa ni tegemeo. Alafu idadi ya watu ambao wanakusanyika pale kuchota maji ni wengi na ni jamii tofauti tofauti, communities tofauti tofauti. So katika ile hali ya kusukumana, mara nyingi tumeweza kushuhudia kwamba vita vinaanza kutokezea huko, vina grow mpaka vinafika kiwango ya community against another community. Lakini saa hii kwa sababu ya hii maji, at least kila jamii imeweza kufanikiwa kupata kioski. Kila mtu anachota kivyake. Vile vile imereduce riski za watu kutembea hiyo msitu wote kutafuta maji, kwa sababu msitu uko na wanyama. Mtu anaenda kutafuta maji pengine katika hali ya kupita katikati ya msitu, anakutana na mnyama, inakuwa ni mambo mengine, anavamiwa na mnyama. Lakini kwa sababu maji yameweza kufika ndani ya kijiji, sasa hizo tumeweza kuepukana na hizo riski. na zile conflicts za watu kutozania maji pia zimeisha.
The project, whose cost was about 18 million Kenya shillings, had the following main components.
Tumechimba kisima ambao depth yake ni 30 meters ambao inatoa 10,000 liters per hour. Tukaweka gantry ya 4 inch. Tukatengeza pump house ya 5 meters by 4 meters. Tukaweka solar panels za 270 watts 21 ambao inatoa almost 4 kilowatt. Tukatengeza pipeline 5.8 kilometer. Tukatengeza steel elevated tank 50 meter cubed ambao is equivalent to 50,000 liters ambao niko na tower ya 12 meters.
Water is an essential commodity for all humans, and the residents of Nanigi, like every other people, were deserving clean, affordable water for their daily use. They are grateful that the trouble they used to go through to fetch water is now a thing of the past.
Ni kutoa shukurani kwa niaba ya community kwa shirika kuweza kufikiria hali ya kutuletea maji ambacho ni jambo muhimu sana kwa binadamu.
Mama Sururu Galgalo is a resident of Godaropa in Meriti Sub-County, Isiolo County. She's among the 9 beneficiaries who received individual household water connection and over 3,500 people accessing water through water kiosks, thanks to the Godaropa Water and Sanitation Project.
Asante yetu ni hiyo, maji imetuleta. Hebu uliza hata kwa watoto wadogo. Hakuna hata watoto wanatembea na daramu kufugusa na mguu wapi na wapi. Kijiko tunaona. Sasa vile sina safisha vyombo yetu. Fumbi hakuna, chafu hakuna, nguo unafulia hapa. Stare saidi si ndio?
The Godaropa Water and Sanitation Project was implemented by Isiolo Water and Sewerage Company and completed in 2020. The project included construction of 1 water kiosk, 2 ventilated improved pit latrines with hand washing facilities, and a 3.8-kilometer pipeline connection from the borehole at a cost of about 6 million Kenya shillings. The project in Godaropa is also serving an additional 2,300 people 8 kilometers away in our C2, following completion of the Our C2 pipeline extension water project in January 2022.
Formerly, the borehole has been connected to generator, but under this project, it is now using solar, implying that the cost of operation is now reduced because of the solar. There is enough solar, and now they can get water almost every other day.
This component also supported farming that is ongoing beside a high-yielding borehole of about 12,000 liters of water per hour.
Tangu hii pump tuongezewe the high load, we have around 18 households ambao wanapanda shamba, na huwa kwa shamba wanapanda vitu kama mahindi, mboga kama sukuma na miogo.
A 1,500 meter pipeline distribution line was connected to Meriti Technical and Vocational College, a move that helped the institution get enough supply of clean water. As a result, the institution has recorded an increase in student population.
Tuko na walimu 6 na wanafunzi tulianzia na wanafunzi 5. At the moment tuko na wanafunzi 20, na hiyo yote ililetwa na usaidizi ambayo tulipata, maana sasa tuko na population ambayo ime-increase.
We gave them a storage of 10,000 meter cubed, and also the water has enough pressure. The school was opened around May. It had its first intake, and it is now in operation because of the water. There was also a sanitation block there. So one has now been dedicated to the ladies and the other one for the young men. Also, we had a primary school within this Godaropa area. It had no ablution blocks. So we constructed one, an ECD school, and now they opened the school and they are able now to continue with their studies.
The community is now accessing water at a fee, which in turn will be used for repair and maintenance, and this is expected to enhance sustainability of the project.
200 siku ingine kama bili yangu inakuwa zaidi 300 hivi vile ninatumia.
They have to take up this project and again own it and ensure that this project is going to last for long. By doing what? By paying for the service. For instance, if you come to the kiosk to fetch a water, a 20 or 40 liter jerrycan, that you have to pay for 5 shillings. That money is being deposited in an account with the management, water management team. It is from that kit now the water management team will use to repair problem if it arises.
Tunachunga maji yetu na njia mzuri. Tunachunga. Tunachota na kiasi, mbuzi na kunywa kiasi, unafunga mifereji yako, unapika, unawacha namna hiyo. Hakuna kucheza na maji kwa sababu ikikosekana kasara ni ile ile tu. Mtu uko na maji hako na faida mingi sana.
In addition, members of the community were engaged during the implementation period of the project. This was a source of livelihood for them.
The 2 kilometers was done by the local community here, and they got something small, which raised their standard of living. The income they got from that work helped them. Some of them had constructed roofing for their houses.
Kuna watoto shule. Watoto wangu wote naenda naye shule. Kijana yangu mwingine nanunua na bike hapa. Au watu wawili walifanya hapa kupika hapa usiku na mchana. Mpaka wakanunua bike yao wako naye sasa. Faida ya hiyo maji ni hiyo.
If we talk of the success of that project and the benefit of it, you cannot actually mention it because water is life. With water, I think these other things will all come because there is water.
Indeed, the Godaropa Water and Sanitation Project has certainly impacted lives in Godaropa. Let's now move further north to Turkana County, and here we look at Namoru Akwan Lokorkor Water and Sanitation Project and Churro Farm Water Access and Livelihood Project. Christine Apem Etir is a resident of Namoru Akwan Lokorkor in Katilia Ward, Turkana East Sub-County. She's among the residents who have been accessing clean and safe water from this water kiosk for more than 1 year.
Hiyo mradi tangu ifike, hatujaifika kwa mto. Yaani tunafurahia tu venye tunakaa. Nilikuwa nabeba jerrycan niende wapi kwa mto nichote maji. Lakini sasa hivi nikiamka hata kama ni jug naweza chukua nitoe maji, kama nikupikia chai nataka naweza pika hiyo time.
The water kiosk that was completed in 2020 is part of the Namoru Akwan Lokorkor Water and Sanitation Project, whose cost was about 29.6 million shillings. The project includes the installation of a solar pumping system besides an automated borehole with a 10-kilometer distribution line, a 50,000-liter elevated steel tank, installation of 5 water kiosks and 5 livestock troughs to improve access to water for both human and livestock consumption.
Imeanzia hapo kwa bore, tuko na fence hapa hivi na tuko na pipelines kutoka hapa hivi mpaka huko kwa water tank, steel tank huko.
Before the implementation of this project, residents were depending on water drawn directly from the seasonal river Kerio. The water was not fit for human consumption.
Tulikuwa tunatembea 3 kilomita kuanzia hapo nyumbani mpaka huko hivyo kwa laga. Ndio sasa tuanze kuchimba karibu 1 hour. Ukichota maji chafu ikiisha, ndio sasa ile safi kuje.
Unasapata watu ni wengi huko kwa mto. Natamani kuchota na kila mtu ako na haraka. Ifeni ugonjwa ilikuwa inaanzanga. Mtu anaweza kuwa mgonjwa, wampeleke, anaweza kuwa na typhoid kwa sababu gani? Ya maji. Na hiyo maji yote hatukuwa na mfereji. Tulikuwa tunatoa maji huko.
And to boost water supply to the only health facility in Lokorkor, an 800-meter extension was added from the 4.5-kilometer distribution line within the village.
Initially, we were using a water booster for water supply, but now, courtesy of the Water Trust Fund, we have a reliable water source because of that piping. And now our sanitation is improved. We have got those 2 toilets which we are using for sanitation, which improves service delivery and reduce diseases.
As a result, the level of sanitation has improved at the dispensary, leading to a gradual drop in reported infections.
It is now easy to wash the hands because we have got the hand washing facility for the 2 toilets, and also we have installed the rest here. So that one has made it easy. It has reduced the transmission of infections. Since we received this sanitation facility, the number of water-related conditions that we have received has remarkably reduced by almost half, which is commendable, and we appreciate the Water Trust Fund project.
About 315 learners at Lokorkor Primary School benefited from a 260-meter extension from the 4.5-kilometer distribution line within the village and are now accessing clean water.
We have received a VIP latrine, and alongside it we have a hand washing facility which is used by learners after visiting the latrine. Apart from that, we also have an extension of a yard tap. That one is also used during break time and also fetching water for drinking by learners and we teachers.
As a result, Lokorkor Primary has recorded an increase in pupil population.
Others missed school because of the same, but because of the project, most of them came back to school. By then it was around 270, but by now as we speak it has moved to around 315.
The community has been equipped and trained on maintenance of these facilities to ensure sustainability.
Tumefunzwa yani tusiharibu maji. Siko hapa, watoto wako wanasachesia. Asa tuwafunze watoto waachana hii story ya kuchezea maji. Achana nayo ndio tukae na maji yetu vizuri.
Tunawapongeza watu wa Trust Fund kwa kutusaidia kutuwekea maji safi. Tunasema ni asante.
Hakuna mtu anayeenda saa hii eti aende mtoni. Hata wale wako huko ndani ya msitu wote wanarudi huko. Hatuna shida sahihi ya maji yani.
Indeed, the Namoru Akwan Lokorkor Water and Sanitation Project has benefited close to 2,400 people, positively impacting their livelihoods.
Before, we had around 3,600 because people were moving far away where they were able to get water. That is why the population was so small. But now because of this project, people were able to move close to the Lokorkor. So the population has increased at around 4,800. Before they know about agriculture, they were thinking about meat and milk. Now, the person is now saying, kumbe, when we have this water, we are able to grow crops and they are able to do well. Now, in that case, they are able to understand that when we have water, something else, some food, apart from milk and the meat, is able to get out of the soil with water.
Churro Farm, located in Kakuma Camp 2 in Turkana West Sub-County, has been in existence since 2017 as a 1-acre demo farm. By 2019, the farm had expanded to 15 acres with the need for interventions to support the farmers from both the host and refugee communities to upscale their activities.
We started implementing this project in 2020, whereby we had 8 shallow wells, 6 were being rehabilitated, and 2 were washed away by floods completely, so it had to be replaced. After the implementation of the shallow wells is when now Water Sector Trust Fund saw it fit to add us 2 more shallow wells that are now able to serve other farmers that were not accessing water from the 8 shallow wells.
Kwa sasa tuko na shallow well 10 ambazo hizo nizo zinatusaidia maji, na hizo 10 kuna hizo tumejichimbia wenyewe.
We have 400 farmers, we have 150 hosts community, and also we have 250 refugees farming here at Churro farm, and we've seen them having a good coexistence.
As a result, Water Sector Trust Fund under the Water and Livelihood Program funded the Churro Farm Water Access and Livelihood Project with financial support from the Danish International Development Agency, Danida. Action Africa Help International was the implementing partner in the project that cost about 4.8 million shillings, benefiting 150 host and 250 refugee farmers. Water Sector Trust Fund funded the fencing of the 15-acre farm for security.
We've also had another component that Water Sector Trust Fund supported us with. We have 5 portable solar hand pumps whereby it is being used by the farmers in drawing water from the shallow wells. This has really helped them moving from the manual money maker to now using solar as an alternative way of pumping water from the shallow wells.
Osman Abdallah is among the beneficiaries of this project. Through the scheme, he acquired a startup kit meant to boost his yields.
Pale mbeleni ni shida ilikuwa kuna mbegu ya kutosha, kuna dawa. Wakati sasa HR imefika, provide us with seeds and dawa, pesticide.
Through that seeds that the farmers were able now to start the farming activity, and they have been consistent in farming. We now do not support them. Whatever they sell, they buy seeds to continue with the farming activities.
Osman has increased his yields.
Watoto wanafika hapo asubuhi, mapema wanachukua sukuma, anachukua mrere, boga chochote tu yenye iko hapo. Unachukua, mwingine unapeleka wakalbie, mwingine hapo town, mwingine hapo Kakumasiri kwa soko, Kakumafo, hadi hapo Hong Kong.
In a week, Osman can make up to 5,000 Kenya shillings income that has since supported his livelihood.
Wengine unalipa mfanyakazi, hizo ambazo unabaki anapelekwa nyumbani, unakulia kama anashirikiana na familia.
For sustainability of the farm, farmers have been trained on maintenance.
Hizo shallow well ambao tunaweza kuzitunza, kando yake kuziwekea magunia, mchanga, kuweka mchanga magunia kando, na kuzisefu kando yake kuweka kupanda miti. Isiweze nini kumonyoka na udongo. Na muda tunaingia na kusafisha ndani, zikuwe zisave maji. Lakini ukiacha without kufanya hivyo, usafi ndani, unakuwa na mchanga unakava, hakuna maji tena.
The farm was able to transition from drip irrigation kind of farming to now sunken beds and also dry land kind of farming.
Nizeimana Trifoni has been buying and selling vegetables from Churro farm since 2019.
Nakuja hapa kwa shamba, nanunua punde ya 200, nanunua mlele ya 300 na sukuma ya 200. Na faida yangu inakuwa 300 hivyo. Hiyo faida napata kwa mboga, napata mtoto namnunulia matunda, namnunulia tomati kwa sababu nichanganye na mboga nimepata hapa kwa shamba na vita nataka.
Ukulima wa hapa Churro hali yake iko mzuri kwa sababu mtu akilima mimea inapanda haraka na mtu anapata mavuno vizuri.
Miaka 5 kutoka saa hii, yani naweza kupata faida mingi kulika saa hii.
There you are, and it is evident from everyone we interacted with that the projects impacted positively to underserved communities. Let's now wind up by looking at the key highlights of the projects.
There is a whole aspect of capacity building where we've actually seen knowledge transfer. Through this water and livelihood project, and even for the GGEP one, we've actually seen communities being trained, especially the water user associations and the service providers, being trained to ensure that they own the projects and they can be able to sustainably manage them. So these are actually interventions that we believe will in the long run result in sustainability of the projects that have been established so that communities can continue to enjoy these services long after the funding has come to an end.
We were able to greatly contribute to the SDG 6 and 13. 6 deals with clean water and sanitation, and 13 deals with climate change. In the aspect of climate change, we were implementing the green growth principles, So we were promoting more of renewable energy, solar, wind, and 17 out of the 20 projects that we implemented under water and sanitation were fully operationalized through solar.
We've seen the project achieve its objectives, and we have seen it really transforming the lives of the people in the Asau region, which is what we really wanted from the word go when we were starting this program. So we believe that the county government is going to continue supporting these projects that have been done, and that it's going to be sustainable, serving the people for the long term.
We were able to reach over 24,000 households, which will translate to close to over 122,000 Kenyans through this program.
Another, for me, highlight, I had a discussion with a few of the governors from the LCL areas, saying that if they compare the drought they have now to the drought that were in Kenya in 2010, it's more or less the same degree, but their resilience is much better now because they have more water points, they have more water for livestock. So even though you have the same degree of droughts, it has not hit the local population as much as it did in 2010. So for me, that was also a very good example that things are actually moving in the right direction. We're not there yet, but we are on the right path.